Have you seen those images online that look so real? They're kind of creepy. Or maybe you've played with one of those AI writing tools, like ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is generative AI. And today, we're going to do a deep dive into generative AI.
Yeah, sounds good.
What it is, how it works, and why everybody's talking about it.
Right.
So we talk about AI a lot,
Mm-hmm.
artificial intelligence. What exactly are we talking about when we talk about AI?
Well, at a really basic level, when we're talking about artificial intelligence, we're talking about teaching computers to do things that usually require human intelligence,
Huh.
like problem solving or decision making, things like that.
Right.
But when we're talking about generative AI, it's kind of a step beyond that.
Okay.
So instead of just analyzing information that's already there, generative AI actually creates new content based on what it's learned.
So that could be anything from, text, images, music, even videos. It's pretty amazing.
So it's almost as if we've taught computers to be creative.
That's a really good way to put it, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it like how an artist learns, right?
Yeah.
An artist might study hundreds or thousands of paintings
Right.
to develop their own style.
Right.
Generative AI, it kind of works in a similar way. It learns from these massive data sets, but instead of brushstrokes, it's analyzing patterns in data. So it might look at the statistical relationship between words and text, or how pixels are arranged in images, or even the sequence of notes in a piece of music.
So when you say patterns, are we talking about like formulas?
That's a great question.
Yeah. Not exactly. It's not so much about following a strict formula. It's more about understanding like the underlying structure and relationships within the data.
Uh-huh.
So different models, they use different techniques to do this. And one that's really popular is called Generative Adversarial Networks. Have you heard of those?
I have heard of those.
Yeah. And basically how they work is it's kind of like a competition between two AI systems.
Okay.
So you have one that's generating content and you have another one that's judging it based on the data it's been trained on.
Okay.
And so the generator keeps trying to create content that can fool the discriminator. And that process of like back and forth, it helps the generator get better and better at creating new and realistic content.
So it's really not about like plugging in a formula. It's more about this massive amount of data and these patterns that it's recognizing.
Exactly. It's like it's learning the rules of the game, so to speak, by studying countless examples. And, that also kind of explains why some AI-generated content can be mind-blowingly good,
Yeah.
while other stuff can be, a little weird or even nonsensical.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
all comes down to the quality and the quantity of the data it's been trained on.
Right. Well, and speaking of AI-generated content, one that's been in the news a lot lately is ChatGPT.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
And that seems to be like a really good example of generative AI in action.
It's a perfect example, yeah. Like, I mean, basically, you can think of it like a chatbot, but it's not just any chatbot. This one can generate different creative text formats, like based on your input, right?
Right.
It can help you draft an email. It can write different kinds of creative content, like poems, code, scripts, musical pieces even.
It's almost like you have an assistant that can help you like brainstorm ideas in real time.
Exactly. It's like having a brainstorming partner on demand 24/7. And it's not just limited to writing. I mean, musicians, for example, are using generative AI to help them break through creative blocks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then fashion designers are using it to generate new design ideas. It's really kind of seeping into every industry.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of fashion, I actually read recently that Zara is using generative AI to design clothing, which I thought was really interesting.
It's amazing. And it makes sense. I mean, fashion is all about trends, right?
Right.
And analyzing data. So Zara is using generative AI to do just that.
Okay.
They're basically feeding the AI tons of data about past designs, current trends, even customer preferences, you know?
Right.
And the AI takes all that information and generates new designs, often in a fraction of the time it would take a human team.
Wow. So it's not just fashion, though, right? I mean, this technology is being used in all sorts of fields,
It's everywhere.
like, for example, healthcare.
Oh, huge in healthcare. Yeah, one really promising area is in medical documentation. So you know how doctors have to take all those notes?
Right.
Well, now there are AI systems that can take those notes and generate really detailed patient reports. And this is huge because it not only saves doctors a ton of time, it also reduces the risk of errors.
Wow. That's incredible. What about education? I mean, are we seeing it being used in education as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It's being used in education in some pretty cool ways. Like, for example, teachers are using AI to create personalized learning materials for their students.
Okay.
So imagine instead of having a one-size-fits-all textbook,
Right.
every student gets materials that are tailored to their specific learning style, their pace, their strengths and their weaknesses.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. So it sounds like overall generative AI has the potential to really revolutionize how we work, not even in just one industry, but across industries.
I think that's the most exciting thing about it, is that it's not limited to one specific domain. We're talking about everything from, like you said, healthcare to education to art and music. It's really kind of blurring the lines between what humans can do and what machines can do. And I think ultimately, the goal is to make our lives easier,
Right.
right? Make things more efficient, more creative,
Right.
and open up possibilities that we might not have even thought of before.
Well, it's definitely a fascinating topic and something that I think is going to continue to change and evolve really rapidly.
For sure, yeah.
So as we kind of wrap things up here, any final thoughts?
I think if there's one thing I would say, it's that generative AI, it's not something that's, way off in the future.
Right.
This is happening now. Like, you can go online right now and interact with these AI tools. So I think it's important for everyone to kind of stay informed, educate themselves,
Yeah.
and, approach these advancements with a critical and discerning eye.
Yeah, and just kind of see, I guess, where it goes, right?
Exactly. I mean, this is really just the beginning.
Well, that was a great conversation. Thank you so much for diving deep with us into the world of generative AI. And for our listeners, we hope you enjoy this episode.
Yeah, this was fun. Thanks for having me.
And we will see you next time.
See you later.